All right, let's bring in CTV's Rachel Aiello, who is with the NDP. She's in Edmonton. She's joining me now, following it all for us, our eyes and ears. What's the takeaway? What's at stake here for the NDP, Rachel? What do you think?
Hey, Todd. Yeah, well, speaking of blockbuster dramas and Oscar-worthy performances, the House of Commons is back next week, and that's why the NDP are here trying to plot out their plans for the return to Parliament. And what we heard from Jagmeet Singh is they are going to continue to focus on affordability and cost of living. In his opening remarks, they're really making it clear that they're pointing out how the government has had many years to act on this, and despite this Liberal cabinet retreats, refocusing on the middle class, really drawing to where they have fallen short. So what the NDP are working out here is both the priorities they are going to lead in the House of Commons on, what hot files they're going to press the government on, but also areas where they can potentially push the government, both through that supply and confidence agreement and perhaps in that upcoming budget, to go further than they've agreed to already.
The other thing I'm curious about, Rachel, is, there were a lot of big victories. You talked last hour with me about, dental care, for example. Big priority for the NDP. They put pressure on the Trudeau government. We're now going to start to see some of this dental care coming into effect for Canadians. But there's also pressure on them because they are, in fact, keeping the government in power. And if the government becomes more and more unpopular, more and more people start to say to the NDP, well, hold on a second, you are supposed to be an opposition party and you're helping to keep these guys in office.
This is the real challenge the NDP are facing is, they are trying to make these gains through this deal to point to Canadians that this is what New Democrats can get done for you. But as you know, the longer they stay in this agreement, should the Liberals polling continue the way it has been, are they going to get pulled down with them? And the folks I've been speaking to here, Todd, they're indicating that the NDP want to be ready to go to an election at any time. Really, election readiness is a focus here. And so I asked Jagmeet Singh, is this because the NDP are trying to plan potential contingencies to pull out of this deal early, head to an election? He kind of dodged the question, suggesting that his focus remains making this government work for Canadians. So I guess reading between the lines there, Todd, the indication is making this current government work, continuing to use this deal to keep the current Liberal minority working for them, as opposed to launching the country into an election. But, as we've been covering for the last number of months, Canadian politics is getting increasingly acrimonious. The stakes are higher the closer we get to that federal election. So we'll really be watching to see how this all shakes out, if there's going to be one issue or a series of broken promises that really throw that deal up in the air.
Great reporting as always. Rachel Aiello live in Edmonton. Thanks, Rachel. Talk soon.
Thanks, Todd.